Hi, my name is Avery Albrecht, and for my business ethics presentation, I'm going to do it on the movie Yes Man. Yes Man came out in 2008. The movie is about the main character, Carl Allen's life. It seems to be going nowhere. He's very depressed and just sits on his couch all day. That's until his friend that he runs into recommends him to go to a self-help program that requires one thing of the people that go, and that is that they say yes to everything and anything other people request of them. Carl works for a company that invests in other people's business ideas. In the beginning of the movie, when he always says no, he despises his job because all he ever gets is looks of disappointments from his customers because he's turning down their business idea. As I was just talking about, Carl is very depressed in the beginning of the movie, and this affects his value system. Your value system is just your unique beliefs as to what is ethically right versus ethically wrong. And your value system can be influenced by, like I said, circumstances such as depression, anxiety, etc., or who you're raised by, where you're raised, and so on. So as for Carl in the beginning of the movie, when he says no, he considers himself ethically right, and when he says yes, he considers himself ethically wrong. So of course this is a very big extreme on the value system. And this kind of thinking has consequences, not just for himself, but for the people around him, and it hurts his virtues, rights, and duties. Now let's talk more about the ethical implications caused from saying no all the time. Saying no to everything brings Carl many consequences for himself. One of these consequences is that he lives a very isolated life. He doesn't have very many connections with people because he always says no to every opportunity he gets to meet new people. This can be a very lonely life. Also, he's always disappointing people, which can be very depressing. Always saying no to others brings a lot of consequences for the people around Carl. This is especially the case because it's his job to decide whether to invest or not to invest in a business idea. Many times the people asking for the loan need this business to help them get back on their feet, but Carl quickly shuts them down with a no. In this next clip, we'll see just exactly how it's hurting other people.
Business has been slow. I mean, there's a lot less demand for a small rollerblade shop, what with Big Five and the sports chalet. But my designs are going to revolutionize the roller industry.
I know that, Marv. But you have no equity, none. And your credit?
Bad. But I don't want to sound desperate.
Yeah. I have no other options left.
Carl saying no has clearly had consequences for this family. As the man said, his family had hit kind of a rough patch, and this could have been their big break if Carl approved it. Regardless, Carl said no because that's just what his value system was. One consequence Carl takes to his virtues is that he's unable to show empathy. He doesn't seem to be able to put himself in another's shoes to see how it might feel to be in their situation. Also, in my opinion, I think he is losing his right to life, that is, the right to make a decision as to whether you want to do something or you don't. He only has the ability to say no. Lastly, the only moral obligation or duty he has is to say no to everything, so any meaningful moral duty is non-existent. After Carl goes to the self-help convention mentioned earlier, he goes from only saying no to only saying yes. So as I said, Carl's decision-making completely changed. He's only saying yes now. And even though it's kind of forced upon him, he has to say yes or he gets punished, it still completely changes his value system. So now if he says yes, he's ethically right, and if he says no, he's ethically wrong.
Can I have 1 minute? Okay. Lee, what do you need? It may be my last loan.
Oh, it's a Ducati. I'm thinking it'll get people off my back about the male nurse thing. See what I mean?
Yeah. Nice ride. See you on the other side, Lee.
Now let's look at the ethical implications for only being able to say yes. The main consequence for Carl only being able to say yes is that he doesn't get to choose what he does with his own life. It all depends on what other people want of him. One of the ways Carl hurts other people with only saying yes is that they can never tell if he's being genuine or not. This next clip will show an example.
What the hell, Carl? Are you serious? You just say yes to everything? Even if you don't like it?
No, of course not. Sometimes.
Oh, good. What a relief, because I thought you lied all the time, but it's just sometimes. That's really excellent. So you didn't want to come to my show? You didn't want to go jogging with me? You didn't want to travel with me?
Yes, I did. That was my idea.
And when I asked you if you wanted to move in together, that took a lot for me to do that, and I meant it. I didn't know what to expect, but I guess I figured, like an adult, you were going to weigh the options. You paused. You wanted to say no, but you couldn't because you had to say yes.
That's not.
As you saw in the clip, Carl's girlfriend can't tell if he's being genuine with what he says or if he just has to say it. This hurts others and his relationship with others. Since Carl can't say no, he loses the virtue of honesty. Carl also loses his right to be able to choose for himself. He only has one choice every time. Carl's restrictions make him unable to have the duty to do what is ethically right in every situation. Finally, Carl seems to start to figure things out. Let's watch the short clip to see how.
No, you just don't know how to use it, that's all.
Yeah, I do. Say yes to everything. Real tough to grasp.
No, that's not the point. Well, maybe at first it is, but that's just to open you up to it, to get you started. Then you're saying yes, not because you have to, not because the covenant tells you to, but because you know in your heart that you want to.
Yeah. You're right. That makes perfect sense.
So finally, towards the end of the movie, Carl starts to figure things out a little bit more. His value system takes a huge turn, so it's not anymore that if he says yes, he's wrong, and if he says no, he's right, or vice versa. It's more by a case-by-case basis, so his value system has a universal principle that he does what he feels in his heart is the right thing to do. And by doing this, it's more on a case-by-case basis rather than just universally always saying yes or always saying no. So this means that each time he considers the consequences for himself, for others, for his virtues, rights, and duties. And of course, since Carl is an imperfect human being, he will make some mistakes even when he's deciding through his heart what to do. But it's much better than just having it set in stone whether to say yes or no. Thank you for watching my business ethics presentation on the movie Yes Man.